2025 new releases. I kind of am just looking forward to finishing this. I did not expect that at all. Oh my gosh.
I can't believe it's a 5-star read for me.
Hey guys, it's Caitlin. Welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be reading a bunch of 2025 new releases, and I'm gonna be honest, I already started this challenge and just didn't film anything for it. I just didn't feel like filming myself, and I didn't expect to read as much as I have, so I actually finished the first book already, and that is My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Now, going into this, I wasn't fully sure how I would feel about it. I think Fredrik Backman is really masterful at creating characters that have a lot of depth and characters that you just care about. But when I read Beartown earlier this year, I didn't love his writing style, and I was curious to see how I would feel about My Friends because everyone is rating this book 5 stars, calling it Backman's best work, and I kind of just wanted to see where I would fall on that line. I also thought the plot of My Friends would be really interesting. Our main character is Louisa. She is just turning 18 at the beginning of this book, and she has been in different foster homes her whole life. The only thing that she's really held on to was a postcard of this painting of the sea with the 3 friends in it, and she has imagined these 3 friends her whole life, and she finally is going to a gallery to see the painting and do some things she probably shouldn't be doing. She soon meets the artist and the artist's best friend Ted, who is in the picture, and Louisa and Ted take a train to Ted's hometown, and he kind of just tells her the whole story of this friend group. If you've read Fredrik Backman before, his characters are very troubled, deeply flawed, and the characters in this book are no exception. Personally, I liked this storyline a lot more than Beartown, but the things that I personally don't enjoy about Backman's writing are very prevalent in this book. I felt like almost every other sentence he was drawing some type of comparison, using a metaphor or a simile, and it just felt too much, at least for me. So another thing he does is he'll make a lot of general observations within the story. So see if I can find an example. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. So at the beginning of chapter 14, he starts it saying, "Art is a context, because honestly, it isn't a great painting. It would have been strange if it was, of course, because the artist who would become known as Sejat was only 14 years old when he painted it. It's the job of 14-year-olds not to be great at things. The only expectation they have to live up to is to be morons. They're put on this earth so their moms and dads will support the headache pill industry. It really, really isn't the job of 14-year-olds to be geniuses." So it kind of goes on a bit like that, and then Backman finally gets back to the actual storyline. And there are a lot of those interjections and observations that, yes, they add to the story, but it's not something that I personally like, and Backman does that a lot in Beartown too, so I knew to expect that, but I felt like it was more in this book. That, along with all the metaphors and similes, like it just felt like an overload at times. But if you like Fredrik Backman's writing, which I know a lot of people do, you will probably love this book. I thought it was okay. I would give it like 3.5, 3.75 stars. I also was really rooting for Jor and his storyline. Out of the friend group, his storyline is probably the one I was most attached to and just wanted to see out, and it was very anticlimactic for me, which kind of sucked. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, and I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to spoil anything because this did just come out. So yeah, I didn't love this book, but I didn't hate it either. I liked a lot of the characters in this book, particularly Jor and Allie. Yeah, so that's my little review of My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Let me know in the comments how you felt about this book. I feel like I'm only seeing very high praise, 5-star reviews, and I just don't feel that way. The next book that I also already started, which I know, I should have filmed it, but I didn't, is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Now, I literally didn't know what this was about. I originally thought this was a multi-generational story, which it still might be. I'm very unsure. But this is also like a fantasy book about vampires, which I had no idea. And honestly, I feel kind of dumb because if I just read a little bit more of the description, I would have known, but I didn't. I'm currently 23% into this book. It is pretty long, so I'm currently 121 pages in, and I'm really enjoying this so far, which I'm surprised about. We're following a few different women, primarily Maria's timeline right now, although I'm not sure how this story is gonna go. I'm really going into it blind. But Maria is in 16th century South America, and she's kind of going through it. We start this book when she's 10 years old, and then it quickly progresses to where she is a young adult and she gets married to this man who she feels like she could at least tolerate. He comes from money, and she doesn't really want to get married. If she had her choice, she wouldn't have gone that route, but that's kind of what she had to do. Quickly, she finds out the marriage is not great. Her in-laws are horrible to her, and she ends up having to stay with them because her husband, I think he goes off to war. So she's very much trapped in their house, and she is very strong-minded. She tries to keep it under wraps as much as possible. But she ends up running into this widow who she actually saw at the beginning of her story when she was about 10 years old, and she sees the widow again, and the widow has not aged. Her skin is very cold. Her movements are very still, and she finds out that the widow runs an apothecary, and she tells her mother-in-law that she wants to go to the apothecary to get herbs so she could get pregnant, even though that's not true. She actually wants to get something so she won't get pregnant. And her and this widow named Sabine quickly become friends, and something kind of crazy just happened. I don't want to spoil anything because this book also just came out, but Maria, a lot of things are happening with her. We also have this character, Alice, who is human. She is in present day-ish. It's 2019 in Boston. She's a Harvard student, and she is also going through it. She's not from the US. I think she's from Scotland, and she's come to the US for college, and she's having a hard time fitting in and just breaking out of her shell. She meets this girl named Lottie at a frat party who I'm pretty sure is a vampire, and they kind of have a night together. Alice wakes up very, very hungover. Lottie is nowhere to be found. She just left Alice a note. And Alice is also going through something. I feel like she's having like some type of PTSD where she's having very intense flashbacks to her childhood with her sister. We've really been in Maria's point of view though, so I'm not really sure what's going on with Alice yet, but I think because that really big thing just happened with Maria, we're gonna see more of Alice's story. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go outside, try to get a bit of a tan, and keep reading this because I'm having such a great time with this. Hey guys, it is multiple days later now, and I've wanted to come on here and give you guys an update on Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, and I've just truly had nothing to say about it. It's a good book. It's decent. I'm currently 47% into this story. I'm like 250 pages in, and still nothing feels super special. I feel like I've watched vampire movies like this, I've read vampire books like this, and nothing is like gripping me. But I will say I'm liking it enough to keep going with it and see what happens. Basically, both of our main characters are vampires now. We have Maria, who is now Sabine, and we have Alice. And we're just kind of going through the struggle of being a vampire, needing to feed. And Sabine is now learning, I guess, like cool vampire tricks. She has just learned how to claim space so she can be let in other places basically because she deems them hers. But I don't know, it's just it's not anything new. I wish I did have more interesting things to say about it, but honestly, this just feels like a regular vampire story. It is the next day or maybe 2 days later since I last filmed, and I finally have something to say about this book. I currently have about like 90 pages left in Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Honestly, I keep forgetting what this book is called because the title is just so long. Things are now happening. I feel like there was almost no plot prior to being halfway into this book, and this book is 520 pages. So actually, okay, I feel like we're looking at each other now. I understand why we spent so much time learning about Maria, how she became Sabine, how she's connected to Charlotte, and how Charlotte is now connected to Alice. I get it, but I feel like we didn't need 250 pages of that buildup. I thought the pacing was very slow and literally nothing was happening. We were just watching Maria become Sabine and become a vampire. And in the same vein, we were kind of seeing like a little bit of Alice's backstory and how she is now a vampire. But I feel like we really didn't get any plot until Sabine met Charlotte or Lottie, which happens at about like 250 pages, which is just crazy. So once I hit that middle mark and really started learning about Charlotte and being in her perspective, I've been into the story. I'm into it. I'm feeling it. I'm kind of feeling it a little bit less now that I understand pretty much Charlotte and Sabine's whole love story. Now where I'm at, Charlotte is on her own. Think about 100 years prior to present day Boston, which is Alice's timeline. So I'm kind of starting to get a bit disengaged again because I think I know what's gonna happen, or at least I have a few ideas, and I don't want to say what they are because I know this book just came out. I don't want to spoil anything, and that's also a reason why I don't want to give a ton of updates because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything. And sometimes even like the smallest details I would consider to be a spoiler, so I'm trying to be a bit vague, and I'm sorry about that. Honestly, I don't know. I kind of have my mind set on this book. I'm really just feeling like a 3-star. I think if you love vampire books, you'd probably just enjoy this for vibes alone, but it's not really anything new or shocking. It's just like another vampire story to me. I kind of am just looking forward to finishing this. I am hoping the ending will surprise me, but I don't know. I feel like for the past 50 pages already, I've kind of developed ideas of what's gonna happen, and I'd be really surprised if something other than what I'm thinking is going to happen. So with all that being said, I feel like I just rambled a bunch. That being said, let's finish this book together. Guys, Alice and Sabine just met. Guys, something really sad just happened. Ugh. Oh, that's really sad. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the thing happened, and honestly, it was very anticlimactic. I'm kind of unimpressed with that, if I'm honest. I was hoping for a bit more. I have 13 pages left now. I don't really know what else is gonna happen other than just wrapping the story up, but who knows? Maybe the author will throw like one more thing in here. I'm not sure. More things are happening. I turned off the camera for like 4 pages and more things are happening. Oh my gosh. I did not expect that at all. Oh my gosh. I hope this lighting isn't too bad, but we're just gonna go along with it. Also, does anyone else feel personally victimized by Prime Day this year? Because I literally just keep ordering things and it's not good. And it's a big reason why I bought this book, because I don't always want to read on my Kindle, and I've wanted this book, but it's a new release and it's hardcover, so it's expensive, and I wasn't even gonna buy it. But I saw my shampoo was 30% off and I was like, I'll get the shampoo, I'll get the book, everything will be good. Then I spent like $50. Anyway, let's open our little Amazon package and let me show you guys what book I got. Oh wow. This Briogeo Scalp Revival Charcoal Scrubby Shampoo thing, everything to me. We're here to talk about Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm so excited to read this book. My Friends and Atmosphere have been my 2 most anticipated reads this year. Do you want to take the dust jacket off and see what the actual book looks like? Ooh, we got a little pretty scenery. The book is just a light blue with a dark blue binding, and it's like a rose gold lettering on the side. Personally, I'm really excited about this book because I have been really into sci-fi this year, and although this is fiction, our main character joins NASA as one of the first women astronauts. I know she starts off as a university professor in, I think, physics or chemistry, and it just has a lot of space and scientific elements. So I am so super excited to get into this one. Not sure if I'll start it today or tomorrow, but I guess I'll come back once I start reading this and have some good updates, and once I have my final thoughts on the V.E. Schwab book. I really can't remember the name of that book for the life of me, and I'm honestly conflicted right now. I feel very conflicted about that ending, but I'll catch you guys in, I guess, a day or so. See you soon. Apparently, every time I'm in Rhode Island, I wear my cartoon character outfit I literally don't own any other clothes, apparently. Anyway, it's been about 2 days since my last update, and to be completely honest, my thoughts haven't changed on Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I still feel like it's a 3.5 star for most of the book. It wasn't really anything new or fresh, or I don't know, it just felt like a regular vampire story to me. It didn't feel like anything special, but I will say the last 30 pages were crazy and so good, so well done. It's just, the book is over 500 pages, and for the last 30 pages of the story to be like the most captivating, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. I did really enjoy when Charlotte's POV came in, but that was also like halfway through the book, more than 200 pages in. So I don't know, 3.5 stars for me. I am interested in reading more by V.E. Schwab. I know their most popular book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Is that what it's called? I'm not sure. I think that's what it's called. I also wanted to give an update on something that I am loving, which is Atmosphere by Jenkins Reid. So I have actually been reading this most of the morning, and I realized I hit the halfway point and hadn't actually spoken about this book. So I wanted to give some thoughts, because this, do I dare say it might be a 5 star? Like, actually, this might be 5 stars. I'm loving this so much. I figured I would like this going into it. I thought it would be like a low 4-star rating, but I'm just obsessed. So our main character is Joan, and I love Joan so much, actually. She is just so kind and patient. She's good at pretty much everything. You know, the smartest kid in class. She is an astronaut, but she also plays piano really well. She draws really well. She's just good at everything. She also has such a good relationship with her niece, Frances, and I love that dynamic. But even though she's good at everything, she's not like pretentious about it. She doesn't brag. In books where someone is like super good at something or a prodigy, it pretty much consumes their life, whereas Joan doesn't let that happen, and that's something I really admire, and honestly I want to be like Joan. But we start this story where something bad is happening. There is a space mission and things are going wrong, and we jump a little bit between that, which is present time in 1984. So we jump from like that timeline to a couple years earlier when Joan applies to NASA to be one of the first women astronauts. We see her in her cohort. We have her really like making these long-lasting, important friendships with her crew members and the other astronauts, and it's so good. I feel really connected to all of these characters, which it never happens for me in books. And as we're jumping like to present day timeline, it's hurting so much more. I think the summary of this book is actually really good. It says at the bottom that it's fast-paced, thrilling, and emotional, and I agree 100%. All of the space missions and classes that they go to and the exercises that they have to perform, it's so thrilling, and it's not something I've ever read about. I'm also kind of in like my sci-fi era, so I'm loving the whole NASA and space theme. All these characters are so vulnerable with each other that it's just, I don't know, I was literally tearing up reading this before, and I don't cry at a lot of books. The only book I've recently cried at is Remarkably Bright Creatures, and you know, when there's an animal, I will cry. But this is truly making me so emotional, and I'm scared for the ending. I'm hoping it will have a happy ending, but I haven't read Taylor Jenkins Reid books in a while. I don't know if she sticks to like a certain formula or anything. And I've read Daisy Jones and the Six and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo prior to this. I thought they were good. I didn't think they were, you know, outstanding, revolutionary. I know those are some people's like absolute favorite books, but this is so good. I think something really drastic would have to shift within the last half of this book for it not to be a 5-star for me. So I am just so excited to get back to reading this. I actually might try and finish it today because even though I have like 150 pages left, it is so fast paced and I'm just flying through it. I'm loving it. So I'm actually gonna get back to reading this and I guess I'll come back when I'm done. Oh my God, I can't. I can't. I don't know how it's gonna end. Guys, it's the next day. Still wearing the same sweatshirt. It's really hard living out of a suitcase, let me tell you. But I finished Atmosphere this morning by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and oh my God, 5 stars. I'm so surprised and so happy that I love this book as much as I do. I thought I would like it going into it just because of what it's about. Came so attached to these characters. They're all so vulnerable and all of it different in their own way. This actually had me tearing up at 2 different points. There is a love story in here and I don't want to give like any spoilers just because this came out recently. But the love story is, oh my gosh, it's so good. But it gets to a point where you don't know what's gonna happen between Joan and Vanessa and you're just like on the edge of your seat kind of waiting for the book to end so you find out their ending. And then there's also this really just heartbreaking plot line between Joan, her sister Barbara, and Joan's niece Frances. Barbara pretty much abandons her kid, Frances, to be married to this rich guy who never really wanted kids. Towards the end of the book, like that plot line and Joan and Vanessa's plot line, just having issues and going through it was literally killing me. I really can't say enough good things about this book. I think out of all the books that I read in this video, I would recommend this one the most. It's truly so good. I think our main character Joan is actually so likable and so relatable. I think a lot of different people could read this book, find joy in it, but yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I can't believe it's a 5-star read for me. I loved it so much. I feel like I'm not gonna stop thinking about this book for, I don't know, maybe my whole life. And I did add some cute little tabs. They don't really mean anything other than just quotes that I liked or parts of the book that I liked. I've been looking for something to read that like won't completely spoil the story. One thing I did tab is Vanessa speaking to Joan, and she says, "I can wake up every single day and choose you over and over and over again. If you're in bed next to me, I will take your hand. If you are not, I will go find you. I will spend the rest of my life, if I get that lucky, seeking you out. Not because I promised you or because you're there, but because I will want to. I will want to be beside you every day, forever." Oh my gosh, like why is that making me tear up right now? Anyway, can't say enough good things about this book. If you're looking for a new release to read, pick this one. So amazing. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed reading new releases with me. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if there are any other new releases I should read. But I think for a bit I'm gonna get back to the classics. I have one in particular that you guys will see soon. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.